In 1997, when it was time for id Software to name their new game, they didn't really come up with anything new, so they kept the name Quake. And while Quake 2 is not a direct sequel to Quake 1, it does use the same name because id felt the game's fast-paced tactile feel felt closer to a Quake game than a new franchise. And the developers couldn't really agree on a name that they all liked. And the result of that decision is we have two storylines that are completely different, but they share the same name. Quake is of course the dark fantasy shooter with sci-fi elements and Lovecraftian undertones, with Quake 2 being a sci-fi militaristic shooter that also has the follow-up game Quake 4 as well as enemy territory Quake Wars. And so the universes of these two storylines were on completely different paths, and the question I had, and I'm sure many other Quake fans had, is would the stories ever collide and become one? When Quake 3 Arena came out in 1999, we finally saw the heroes of Quake 1 and Quake 2 together in the same game. However, Doomguy was also in Quake 3, and because of this, I believe that most fans of id Software considered Quake 3 Arena to be more of a Super Smash Bros. Type approach than an actual sequel to either Quake 1 or Quake 2. So where am I going with all of this? Well, to put it simply, I believe that after over 25 years, we finally have the two universes colliding to become one. So for any Quake fans out there who are interested about hearing my theory, you're going to want to stick around for this video. However, I will caution you as there are spoilers ahead for any of those who have not played Quake 2 Remastered's latest campaign, Call of the Machine, that just came out in August 2023. Alright, so let's get into it. My theory for this video is the following. I believe that Quake 1 and Quake 2 now share the same universe thanks to the Call of the Machine campaign in Quake 2 Remastered. And no, I don't mean the id Software extended universe that we see in Quake Champions, where characters from Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein are all pulled under one roof to do battle in the arena, but I believe their universe is now one. It is still possible that Quake and Quake 2 take place during different timelines or even different dimensions. However, there's no doubt in my mind that the two universes are now forever linked, and that is thanks to Quake 1's badass monster, the Shambler. Machine Games littered the Shambler throughout their new expansion, The Call of the Machine. The Shambler also appears in the id vault of Quake 2 Remastered, and the blurb says, "This thing is definitely not from Stragos. It may be from a past Strog-conquered planet, or it might be from another dimension entirely. We're not quite sure." Well, wherever the Shambler's from, it has ended up in Quake 2 in the hands of the Strog. In one of the levels, Death Gate, when you step through the exit portal, you can hear the distinctive sound of the Shambler's roar. Eventually, the player will come to an underground temple level that is decorated with murals of Shamblers and Shub-Niggurath, the main boss of Quake 1. While playing through the level, the player will be briefly teleported to the Castle of the Damned, a level from Quake, and there they are confronted by a Shambler. However, as soon as you start to fight, you're teleported back to Quake 2, but this alone shows you that there's something weird going on with these two dimensions, thus further strengthening the argument that the two Quakes timelines are crashing together. The most interesting encounter to me though is this boss fight, which is just a giant Shambler called Modir. In this level there is yet another regular Shambler, but the level that Modir is in is exactly like House of Shithon in Quake 1. And while you can kill Modir with regular weapons in this Quake 2 expansion, it's much easier to kill him like the Quake 1 method by dropping the pillars and zapping him with lightning. And if that wasn't enough, in the final level of the Call of the Machine expansion, two powerful Shamblers can be encountered in that level, and they are referred to as Masters of the Machine. They're also much stronger, having 1800 health instead of 600, and their ranged attack tracks a strafing player, where the player could easily dodge the ranged attack of the previous versions of this enemy by strafing. And so that begs the question, do the Shamblers control the Strog, or do the Strog control the Shamblers? For that, I am not certain. But I am definitely certain that because of the Shambler in Quake 2, this means that the two Quake games share this common enemy that the player has to fight, and therefore The universes have collided. Quake 1 and Quake 2 lores finally link up. These universes are now the same. And so the implications of this are pretty big. And so as a hopeful Quake enthusiast, this is what I'm praying for. With this soft combination of Quake 1 and Quake 2's universes, using the Shambler to bridge the gap, I'm hoping we see a Quake reboot soon, like we got with Doom in 2016 and of course the follow-up with Doom Eternal. I think Quake is due for that, and I think that there's more than enough material for an awesome reboot. And if not a full franchise reboot, then maybe a sequel to all of the games that kind of combine officially Quake 1 and Quake 2. I mean, with the Slipgate complex, I don't think it's a far cry having the Strogg have the same exact technology and then summoning all the demons from Quake into their world, using them against us, the hero. So yeah, I'm speculating on a lot here, but I think it could be pretty cool. Alright guys, before I go too far down the rabbit hole, I think I'll just call the video there. What started as me creating a YouTube short with the Shambler just to show it off turned into a completely different video of me kind of going on a wild theory, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think? Do you think my theory holds water? Regardless, thanks for watching guys, I always appreciate it. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, I'm SaltyOctopus, and I will see you next time. Happy fragging.